Good morning and welcome back to Photoshop. This week we're covering two chapters, chapter 8 and 9, and we're going to start with chapter 8, which is on smart objects, filters, and vanishing points. So we get to see some of the fun, artsy sides of Photoshop right now. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open from our chapter 8 files the image called smartbutterfly.psd. Once that opens for you, we're going to see a document that's already been created for us that has the same image duplicated, but on the left and the right side of our canvas. So right now they're exactly the same thing, although in our layers panel, they've been renamed Butterfly and Smart Butterfly. So we had a brief encounter with smart objects back when we were doing shadows and highlights in the filters. We turned the picture of Dave and his dog into a smart object so that we could apply the filter as a smart filter because shadows and highlights does not work any other way non-destructively. You have to use it as a smart filter. So we're going to work a little bit or just take a look at another reason why smart objects are so awesome. They always remember where they came from. That is the amazing part about them. So everything can be non-destructive. It always remembers its origin. So we're going to start by clicking on the layer called Smart Butterfly, which is the one here on the left, and we're going to turn this into a smart object. And for me, the easiest way is just to right-click and say Convert to Smart Object. We could have also gone up through the layer menu up at the top and eventually gotten to the same command. So we can see that it now has the little icon over here showing us that it's a smart object, but nothing's changed. They look exactly the same, and I'm viewing at 100%. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the butterfly layer, and we're going to transform this down to 10%. So a Command T is free transform, and then up in the option bar, I have the lock here, so whatever number I type in for width, the height will automatically do the same because of the lock. So I'm going to say 10% and then hit tab, and of course 10% is applied on the height, and then OK. It's exactly what we would have expected. We're going to come to the Smart Butterfly layer and do the same thing. Command T for transform. As long as it's locked, you type in 10% for the width, 10% for the height automatically happens, and we can say OK. So now when we look at these, they look exactly the same. They're at 100%, so scrolling back and forth isn't going to gain much. I can see they're both pixelated because they're small. They're tiny now. We threw away, in this case, 9 out of the 10 pixels. We shrunk it down to 10% size. So back at 100% view, they look exactly the same. So maybe you had an image from somebody, a client, and you took it down to 50% or 10%, and then they go, oh, never mind, we do need that bigger. But that's okay, you can make it bigger because you have it. Well, let's go to our butterfly layer, free transform, Command T, and let's look at our width and height. It says now 100%. This tiny size, this ½ inch by an inch, is now everything. 9 of 10 of the pixels were thrown away. So to get it to fill back up this whole side, we need to tell it to grow to 1000%. And yes, you can imagine what that's going to do. Ew. It had to guess and put back 9 of the 10 pixels based on guessing. This looks terrible. This is what happens when you upsize images too. When you have a small image and you try to make it a lot bigger, this is what you get. However, let's go to our Smart Butterfly layer and do a Command T, and looky here. It says, hey, this is only 10% of what I actually have for you. Would you like to go back to 100 or any number in between? And you say, yes, please, 100. Check. There it is. So that makes having this be a smart object, if you're going to resize it and then change your mind, if it's a smart object, it always remembers its point of origin. It can always go back to that original file and pull detail back. So this is a pretty amazing thing. Helps with your workflow. Don't do it for no reason. Don't make every layer in your document a smart layer unless there's a valid reason. Like you've resized it down, but you're not sure that you want to keep it small. maybe you'll go back to having that image big. If you make every layer a smart object, when you send me this file, not only do I get this file, but it attaches the individual original layers of everything that you made into a smart object, and it makes your file huge for no reason unless, like I said, there's a very specific reason. So smart objects are our friends. They're very helpful. One thing that you can't do is that a smart object can never fabricate a quality that is better than the original. It only remembers the original. So this size and resolution is the original. I can't go bigger yet and expect it to be great. This is the maximum value it can be. So that's smart objects. We can close down this file and we do not have to save it.